I hate videos. Now you may be
Now you may be
wondering,
wondering,
if I hate
if I
videos,
hate videos,
what the
what
heck am
the
I doing
heck am I
here?
doing here?
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to wherever you are in the world today. Thank you for tuning in live. My name is Inge van Roy, and I am known and recognized as a networking ninja. The reason for that is because I teach others how to start networking with a very small investment of just 12 minutes a day. If you'd like to know more, please reach out to me and let's have a discussion and see if I can help you do just that. If you are tuned in live, please drop me a comment and let me know who you are and where you're tuning in from. Um, and of course, if you're on LinkedIn, definitely explore connecting with others that are in the audience as well. For sure, you are my people, and I'm happy to connect you one to the other. I'm very excited to introduce you to my special guest. But before I do that, I just want you to know that, since you probably watched my intro video, today is the 33rd episode of Inspiration from Inga. And the topic, of course, is the power of networking. Before we continue, let us give a nod to some very special people who are probably watching us right now. These are our wonderful sponsors. Thank you so much to you, Island Spices. Island Spices is a restaurant that is located in Toronto. It's a home restaurant, but trust me when I say they make the most delectable island food, and it comes from the heart. Thank you also to our friends at Kindness Inspired. Kindness Inspired is a wonderful movement that is happening all over the world. And if you look at all these people on these pictures, they are actually truly located all over the world. And it's because we want to spread kindness and incorporate kindness where we see it lacking. Once again, if you are watching live, please drop us a comment and let us know who you are and where you're tuning in from. Before I introduce my guest, I'd like to speak a little bit about the topic. So, if you watched my intro video, you would have seen a word that is not very commonly known, especially to the Western world. And that word is Ubuntu. Many people don't know what that actually means, so let me explain it to you. Ubuntu, according to the dictionary, is an ancient African word and it means humanity to others. It's often described as reminding us that I am what I am because of who we all are. Most of us have heard the expression, we are the sum of the five people around us. But because of Ubuntu, I would like to let people know that actually, for me, I'm not the sum of five people. I am the sum of all the people I've encountered in my life, as well as my experiences that I've had. And Ubuntu, networking is very similar. So, what is networking? It's the action or process of interacting with others to exchange information and develop professional or social contacts. So, without further ado, I'd love to welcome my very special guest. Good afternoon to you, actually, Jonathan.
It is, it is. And you know what? I turned my phone off. I'm sat in the room, closed, windows open. Just before I came on, someone with a drill going. "Ah!" So if you can hear that, then I'm really sorry, people. They're obviously building something of utility there.
No, that's fine. We can't hear it. How are you?
I'm all the better for seeing you and Network Ninja. Come on, yeah, hashtag Network Ninja. And I was watching the comments earlier, and we have Gary the Goat as one of our audience. Ah! Right, okay. There's obviously an in joke that I'm not aware of yet. Fine, okay,
I'll tell you as we go through the comments. But
okay.
before we do that, could you please just let our audience know who you are, what you do, and what. Actually, just let's start with that. Go ahead, please.
All right, so hi everyone, I'm Jonathan MacDonald, and I do two things. One is the socialmetoo.org website, which is a place where people can anonymously, without having to register or do anything, leave the abuse or bullying or sexual flirtation and abuse that people get on social media. If it goes around your head all the time, it can drive you mad. Basically, it's like a mild form of PTSD because your hidden your device is there in your hand. So
Mm.
it's a place where you can get that out of your head and onto the website. And then over time, as there are more stories left there, people will be able to read them and go, "Huh, me too." In the same way as they did with the original Me Too movement. I read the book actually Brave by Rose McGowan, who spoke about Harvey Weinstein. So that was pretty disturbing. The other thing I'm doing is a moonshot goal, basically legacy education, as I'm referring to it, has not evolved and is not serving the needs of our children today. um, just is not serving anybody except the people who earn from education system as it is.
Mhm.
So I've identified a major problem in the way girls are conditioned from the ages of 11 to 18, and if they were exposed to an alternative narrative, one where girls can be and are doing anything, then all of a sudden, rather than going, "Oh, I'm going to give up on my dream," they go, "Oh, yeah, I'm really interested in doing this," and it's going to be something which is it's kind of like it's kind of visionary, but it's the combination of 12 years of volunteering in the primary school sector and about 250 books about information about how to learn and grow. That's the
Wow,
short version.
that's the
Sorry.
short version, I'm sure. Well, welcome and thank you for being here. It's an honor to be able to highlight you today and just to be able to introduce you to my people. So, without further ado, let's go to the comments and acknowledge some of them, please. And we'll start from the top, I think.
Okay.
um, 1 minute till showtime. Tim and Gary the Goat are present. Yes. So let me tell you quickly. This is Gary's cousin.
Okay.
I haven't named him yet, but I received this from Tim Sohn, who is my friend. And thank you, Tim, for being here. This goat has helped me through many a time where I felt like I was having a bad day, and
Yeah, very
that
good.
that
I've
can
seen
put
the.
a smile on anyone's face.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Excellent.
So, thank you for being here, Tim, and hello to you, Shireen Ali. Thank you for being here. Are you connected to Shireen?
Me?
Yes, you.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, obviously, who would else would it be? Um, no, I'm not connected to
Okay.
Shirin.
Okay, thank you for being here. And Tim says he is tuning in from Oshahola. And hello to you, Shatish Khanna. Thank you. He says good evening, so I assume he's in India. So thank you for tuning in, Shatish. Awesome to see you. And oh my goodness, this right here is an awesome friend. Thank you, Katie, for being here. She says, Happy Friday. Lovely to see you here as well. Hello, MD Mijaner. Thank you for tuning in from Bangladesh. Awesome to see you. I don't know who this is.
Hello, hello.
Because LinkedIn and StreamYard sometimes don't communicate, especially if you have your
Oh, I've just
profile.
noticed.
Yeah,
Oh,
if you
so
have, yes, if you have your profile on private, sometimes they don't
can I
display
click on these links and they take me to their Instagram? Not Instagram, LinkedIn.
the LinkedIn only
If I click,
if you go to LinkedIn,
okay,
not from
all right.
StreamYard now.
There's a user enhancement.
Yeah. Yes. Good afternoon to you, Chrislyn. Thank you for tuning in from South Africa. Nice to see you here. And we have Chinedu Humphrey tuning in. Hello to you. Thank you for being here. And Tim says, congrats on 33. I know, right? Honestly, I when I
What's your birthday?
no 33 as in the
Oh,
episode.
show, right? Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yes. And the joke to me is when you look at the my intro video, that was the very first video that I've ever done on social. Um, and when I did that video, trust and believe, I did not imagine that I would ever get to even episode one of a show. So
Hmm.
I'm happy that I can be here. So it's awesome to be here. Um, hello, 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 Alexandria. Thank you. Um, it says RN, but I'd like to congratulate you on your doctorate, my friend. Thank you. Thank you for tuning in. Awesome to have you. She is an amazing connection. Hopefully, the two of you can connect at some point, and Tim as well. Anybody that I'm acknowledging that you know that I know definitely is somebody that you can get along with. So, oh wow,
Trouble is, I won't do it when I'm live because, yeah.
no, that's fine. That's fine. You can always go back. Katie says she is the manufacturing hype girl in central Wisconsin, praying for summer to arrive. Yes, I hear you. And good morning to you, Dan Bigger. Thank you. Thank you for tuning in. Dan is also an amazing connection, including on Twitter, actually. So, good morning, good afternoon, sorry, to you, Cecilia. Cecilia was my guest last week, and she's tuning in from South Africa as well. So nice to see you. Dan says he's in South Carolina. Okay, and we have some networking in the comments, of course. Love that always. Um, hello, John Biglino tuning in from New Jersey. Awesome to see you here. Oh, wow. Hello, Emily. Nice to see you. Thank you for being here. Um, I see Chinedu says everyone is in the meeting, but I can and ongoing. I can hear anything from the background. I'm not can't hear anything. Really? Can you hear now? Let us know if you can hear us. You should be able to.
Hello, hello. Can you hear me?
I know, right? Like now, I
Hmm?
feel like I need to check to
Yeah.
see if I can. But please let us know if you can hear. Henry Katenda, tuning in from Uganda. Thank you so much for being here, Henry. Nice to see you. Welcome. Um, Katie says, "Oh my gosh, John, there are power tools in my background also." I think people can hear us. Yes, I think so because here Emily is she's commenting on what you said. She says, "Yes, education must be changed." So true. So thank you for letting us know. Hello to you, Raven from South Africa. Thank you for tuning in. Okay. Then we have Jessica Benton tuning in from Wisconsin. Jessica, you and Emily, if not Emily, you and Katie, if you're not connected, please connect. Both of you are in Wisconsin. Maybe that will be. Oh yes, I see they are connected. Awesome to see that.
Yes, I
Hello to
can hear.
you, Louise Ryan. Thank you for tuning in. I think maybe there was an issue in Chinedu's audio because even Alexandria is commenting on something that I said. So awesome to see you here. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. Um, and we have Ajaz tuning in from Dubai. Thank you for being here. I just want to acknowledge some of the unique visitors. So, okay, Jessica says she can hear. So, good. Thank you for letting us know. And LinkedIn user says it's absolutely clear. So, we're good. Nice to see you all here. And Risha says, hello, everyone. Thank you, Risha, for tuning in. Nice to see you. So, Jonathan,
Mm,
let's go to the topic.
indeed. How exciting.
Yes. You know, this is about specifically about the power of networking. But before we move on to that, let's talk about your inspiration.
Mhm.
Can you tell us what inspires you?
So, I think the fairest way to answer that is to say that there's a phrase that it's 1% inspiration and 99% perspiration. So, being inspired, I think, is easy. People are inspired a lot by all sorts of things, which is lovely as an emotional emotion to have. What
Hmm.
motivates me to get out of bed and to do what I need to do to grow in the way that I'm growing, that comes down to a couple of experiences where children have saved my life, and therefore I regard them with high priority, and that's why what I'm doing, both with this even and potency, is to help children and young women especially.
You said that
So I'm
children
not
have saved,
inspired. I'm most.
yeah,
Oh yeah, yeah,
saved your life. So can you tell us a bit more about that, please?
yeah. Okay, so I'm 50 now, but when I was 23, that was a bank holiday. In fact, actually, it's the bank holiday. It's the anniversary of my death on Monday. There you go. I know. Hey, but in Maybank holiday, I was riding a motorcycle and a car pulled out of a side road across my path. I went off the bike through the car window with
Oh my
this
word.
arm and over the side of the car with the rest of my body, which landed about 30 meters down the road. And it's a spinal cord injury called a brachial plexus. So my entire upper right side is paralyzed, and the pain is excruciating. It's like if you had toothache, but imagine that across the whole of your upper right body. So when I had that accident, I went through 6 years probably of the most intense alcohol and drug abuse. Anything to get away from myself, because the pain, it's like having hot needles shoved into your eyes. Um, and basically I was trying to kill myself pretty actively, because not only was I doing all these drugs, but I was driving around in drink driving, drug driving, just appalling states, and I was so rage filled because to the pain is so intense. The only things I at the time could imagine were planets exploding, like in Star Wars, or mass shootings, or
Mm,
fire, or just terrible things. And I went through that, and I couldn't die. Um, and I'm lucky I didn't kill anyone, but I was unsuccessful in dying. And so after 6 years of trying to do it pretty much all the time, you kind of go, "Oh, I'm going to have to do something else now." So I'm sitting in the hospital where I got my nerve surgery done. And on the wall, there's a poster saying Radio Broccoli. So in the UK, hospital trusts have a hospital radio. Almost all hospitals do in this country, and a team of volunteers goes round varying amounts of live shows versus recorded. But the idea is you go round to the people in hospital,
mm,
have a chat, take a request, and play their song on the hospital radio. And it's a way of connecting them, and it's like a nice thing. So I go, oh, I'll do that. And I went round with like a couple of different teams, and then there's a guy called Graham, and he did the adolescent ward. So the youngest we had was, I think it's 4, but it might be 5, up to 18. Um, and this hospital is the Royal National Orthopaedic Hospital. So it's the European Specialist Centre for orthopaedic surgeries, cancers, nerve surgeries. So you've got children in there with, do you know scoliosis? Yeah, okay. So they do the operation, and then they're tied up in this tremendously tight board. Um, Cancers, limbs being cut off, all this kind of terrible stuff. Um, and because of that, everyone was really subdued, I think is probably the best way I can
mm,
describe it.
mm,
And kids don't have the historical or the perspective of how bad this is. It just is. And so children, no matter what situation I found them in, all they wanted to do was have a laugh. So I basically went from being the assistant on this show to sculpting a event that just blew the world apart. Um, and basically, because of my efforts in that area, that took away all the time I was doing drugs and feeling sorry for myself, because I was preparing the intro script for each week. I was clipping out bits of comedy to running the script. I was going and buying sweets for prizes for the kids. And basically,
mm,
it went from hi, do you want to request on the hospital rate, do you want to, yeah, yeah, to hi, I'm Jonathan, which do you like most, Maltesers or minstrels? Well, okay, there's 10 of you over there that want the minstrels, so you better get on the phone to the competition when we, and it's like all that, bang bang bang. I get their parents, take them aside, get a recording, and then play it back in the show. But when I took the parents back to the child, I'd go, oh, you should hear what they said about you. You have to listen. So it's all about creating this ride, this swirl of emotion and energy, and just like bam. And children, like, so this is the adolescent world. So it's Sunday night, 9 till 10 o'clock at night, and I would have 10, 12 phone calls from a 20 bed ward. And
mm.
that joy that joy is joyous, and children are joyous, and
Yes, they are.
like, yeah, it was awesome.
I love that because what you basically said to us is, of course, you faced this challenge that your accident and then afterwards, right, for all those years. But what you needed to do really, because we all have challenges,
Mm,
we all face various challenges. And so I can completely understand. And a lot of the time, what we end up doing is saying, why me? But what we need to do is say, why not me? And shift our focus. Because so that's what happened for you is you shifted your focus from yourself to what was happening outside of you, and
Exactly.
also to and inspiring joy in the process, right? Wow, I love that
It's
story.
I tell you, I've sent you that clip of me, didn't I? Yeah, yeah. It's just like that was. You could tell from that clip I sent you. Of yeah, yeah.
Yes,
I had
and
fun.
I can totally um relate to what you're saying about, you tentatively approached it initially, but now you're all in. You
Mm,
jumped in all in, right? Because that's the way that I approached video. And I was being truthful in
mm,
the fact that I hate videos. I still do, but now I do it. I show up because I want to serve others. That's why I do it. Before we go on, let's just acknowledge a few comments. Um, awesome to see. Katie says, Louise Ryan, I'm going to bring you into my world. Laugh out loud. Watch out. Nice to see you guys. And Louise is looking forward to the networking. Good to have you here, Louise. Thank you. And Dalip says hello. And my friend, Daniel Hall, tuning in from Maryland, US. Nice to see you here. And my awesome friend, sister, oh, Gail, thank you for being here. She says, stopping in some powerful insights here, and facing challenges is all about shifting focus. Yes, absolutely. And showing up to serve others. Yes. Thank you, Gail, for being here. Um, I I know I've heard your story before, and I love it because of what I said, I have a friend, his name is Alex, and he is a psychology enthusiast.
go.
And he speaks about this similar to what I said about shifting focus, but he speaks about something that's it's called mood congruent memories. And
Okay.
what that is um, when you're going through something negative and you focus on it, what happens is your brain remembers other instances where you've experienced something similar, and it actually makes it seem more ambiguous than it is. And and so you end up being overwhelmed by the wallowing, really. That's what it
Mm,
is. Because so that's why I speak about shifting focus, because like, if you let me do an exercise with you and whoever's in my audience. If you have a light in front of you,
mm-hmm.
look at the light and then raise your hand so that your hand is blocking the light.
Okay.
So, and then focus more on your hand, right? So then it seems darker, and it almost seems like there's no light. But when you
Mm,
raised your hand and you shifted your focus to the darkness, the light still remained behind your hand. But because you're focusing on the darkness, it causes you to only see that and maybe see the light in your periphery. And just like that, it's the same thing when it comes to positivity and negativity. That mindset, when you focus on the negative, it seems like it is so big and you cannot overcome it. But when you shift your focus away from that, the light is still there,
mm.
but the negativity is still there. But now, if you're focusing on the positivity, it seems less intimidating and less
So
overwhelming.
One thing I omitted from my story is that whilst, because I was working through this drug and alcohol abuse phase as a manager at a pretty big corporate in
Mm,
various roles, and I forgot to mention that I got trained in NLP halfway through. And so, what you're talking about, focus, yeah, my brain's unusual in many ways, but yeah, shifting focus is something. So, for example, um, when you say you might have asked, oh, why is this happening to me? I constructed a teaching coaching program for primary children, and I used to say to them that the question why, except in the scientific process, in that you lay out your theory and test it, and why do we get that in that instance, why works. In every other instance in life, why allows your brain to do what it does best, which is coming up with answers for you. And asking why is this happening to me
mm,
allows your brain to go and pick up all the negative things that have been said to you, as you're saying, over time.
mm.
Oh, you're not popular. Oh, you're not tall enough, or you're not rich enough, or you're blah, blah, blah. So I always used to say the most powerful question that you can ask is, how can I?
Wow. And if my friend Osama was here, he would just be dropping mics because that was a mic drop moment for sure. How can I instead of why?
It's
Yeah.
the same as, so another quick example,
Mm.
the England football team are rubbish. We like to think we're going to win the World Cup every time, but we just aren't. But anyway, back when I was writing my book, I think it's back in 2014, the then captain of the team was being interviewed the night before. So it was a match whereby if we won and some other team won and some other team drew, then we could go through. So already we'd lost. But this
Mm.
guy comes on the TV and he goes, yeah, we've got to win tomorrow or we're going to face a summer of pain. And you go, oh, so you don't want to then? And you're already looking at what's going to happen when you lose. And apparently they're a sports psychologist. So I don't know what they're doing in the England's team, but,
Ah.
sorry, just a small
That's
addition.
okay. That's okay. Okay, let me ask you a question.
Hmm.
Growing up, who was your role model and why?
Ooh, okay. Oh dear, I'll give a straight answer one of these days, I'm sure. So, so I'm adopted, and I'm a mixed race child adopted into a white British family. Now, I wasn't picked up for the 9 months between when I was putting in the children's home and when I was finally adopted, and my legs didn't work for the first year after I was taken home. So I never really bonded with the species at large. People come, people go. There's no point getting invested. Um, and so when I was adopted, I think like a rescue puppy, I bonded very aggressively to both my parents. So my mum was an extraordinary woman, neurodivergent like myself, and she would see in people's eyes their state. You can see so much. You can see lost, you can see confusion, you can
Mm,
see um you can see question, you can see anxiety, you can see all these things. And she would help people. She would pull up some stray from the gutter, and she suffered an industrial accident. She'd been a professional photographer. She became disabled with terrible pain walking, but nonetheless she carried on doing this and doing this and doing this. And unfortunately she was killed through medical negligence,
oh,
Christmas Eve 2003, and died. Yeah, died then. But my personality is most like her, but my dad was an apprentice for Rolls-Royce aircraft engines,
Mm,
and Rolls-Royce are a particular way of doing things, and very, very, like a Japanese factory or something like that. It's a very detailed way of drafting out and measuring and drawing and planning. So I learnt my personality from my mum, and I learnt my pragmatism and my ability to plan, organize, sort, show discipline from my dad.
mm,
Discipline being discipline of your actions, not of threatening or slapping or being angry.
mm, mm. Um,
Did
I
I
love
answer
that.
or not?
Yes, that's a good answer. I
Okay.
love that. Because you're pulling from two sources, right? But they definitely, for me, I commend them. Um, it's it's not an easy thing to do, especially as a British white
Mm,
couple, to take
mm.
in a mixed race baby. Um, you mentioned neurodiversity, so I've
Mm.
put the definition up here. But can you tell us uh, what it means to be neurodivergent, please, in your own
So
words?
Yeah, so essentially, I came across the term at the end of, towards the end of 2016, about September. And essentially, at the time, I was volunteering in a special educational needs school, and it was quite obvious that these children who were classified as having behavioral difficulties couldn't spell or write. And honestly, about seeing things. Honestly, it's literally like people are blind. So I go, oh fucking hell, yeah, excuse me. So I bought this book called Bridges to Success, and I've lost my train of thought completely. What was the question? Oh, neurodiversity. Right. Okay. So
Yeah.
dyslexics were called in this book neurodivergent, and there's a TED talk, Brian Kinghorn, it's on YouTube, educating a neurodiverse world, where he says something and I went, oh, that's me. And there had been loads of, so I'm a high school dropout, I failed English language at school, and I hated education, and basically I would be, if I were classified today, I'd be a lot of things, but I'd be ADHD, maybe not the final D because it's not a disorder, it's just a way. I'm
Mm,
dyslexic. I am incredibly visual. So I remember describing myself from about the age of 12 as being mostly cerebral. And neurodiversity basically is what people who are more neurotypical, so it's a spectrum, yeah. And people who are more neurotypical are most people because we get conditioned to be the way for our societal group, whatever. And you can see neurodivergence because quite often we are showing our difference on our outside. So it might be tattoos, it might be my vampire repellent spiky color thing. It might be, hair color or something like that. So it is grouped together with things like autism, Asperger's, dyslexia, dyscalculia, ADHD. What else is there? Uh, I
mm,
can't think of any other learning thing. But yeah, so we've now claimed the term neurodivergent, and now people say it on their profiles. People are neurodivergent activists because up till now we've been called disabled and broken by people who their thinking process is limited very much by the fact they only have one thing going on in their minds. So sorry. So I didn't understand until very recently that the ability
mm,
in my head as I wander through the world I don't spend any time at all thinking about stuff
mm,
in the past unless it is instructive to what I'm doing now. And I don't spend any time at all worrying about what's coming in the future. So, what I have is not uncommon.
mm,
It's just the way the software is used. So rather than having 10 thoughts about my girlfriend, about my job, about the weather, about this going on in my head, spinning round,
mm,
I visually represent
mm,
between 6 and 15 different perspectives of now. And in those different perspectives of now, I'm also mucking around with every filter that I've ever been shown because I can color the world anything in my head. So I
mhm.
can see it infrared, I can see it heat map, I can see it, um, black and white color, vivid colors. I can see, oh, like 3D animation is this thing where you can pull. They're all just polygons to make up bigger things. So
Yes,
I can look at a thing and pull it apart in my head and reorder it and reassemble it. Um, and I say when I can, I
mm,
am all the time doing that
mm,
without thinking. The only reason I know that I'm now doing it is because I had the strokes. Have we
mm.
talked about the strokes? Oh yeah,
You haven't
had the stroke.
mentioned that
No.
year yet.
Yeah, okay. So had the strokes and was able to watch myself rebuilding my brain. But that alone is
Wow.
unusual. People don't
Yes,
watch their thinking, whereas I see my thinking all the time.
that's.
Freak.
But I don't know. Like when you speak about saying that something is unusual, what is usual? What is normal? Because I think what people thought was normal was just traditional thinking,
Construct.
right? And yes, it's made up by man. I yeah, I'm not certain that I'm neurodivergent, but I have a daughter who is.
Okay.
She's left-handed, left-brained, and initially, when she was in grades 1, 2, 3, it was they were like the school system was trying to say that she uh, wasn't academically minded or whatever. But the reality of it is, she's really very smart and very witty. And she just doesn't think in the traditional sense. And, because of her, I actually became more aware of people that are neurodivergent because I felt like she was being placed in the system that wasn't catering to who she was, right? And that's, yeah, that's the world that we live in, unfortunately. um
Exactly.
but I
And the
think
thing is, um,
yes, I think now people are just becoming more aware of it, and maybe making more allowance for it, hopefully. I
mhm,
just I've just found different ways to help her to understand concepts because she is not uh, a flat thinker. She thinks
no.
three in 3D, and
Can I? Oh, mate.
yeah.
Oh dear. Can I add to the main chat or not?
Yeah,
Uh,
let me actually. I'll go back into the comments so that we can.
what I'll
Oh, do you
do
want to?
is I
Okay, I
shall
see.
put this
Send it
in
to me in a
the,
private
yeah, I'll
chat
send,
so we
yeah.
can display it. But while
So,
you do that, let
yeah,
me say hello to Charles. Thank you for tuning in, Charles. Nice to have you here. Um, Louise says, Gail, agree. Very important to get your priorities aligned. And then I have my awesome friend, Russ Hedge, tuning in. Thank you, Russ, for being here. Nice to see you. Russ, if you haven't met him yet, Russ is the author of befuddled, live
Mm,
the life you choose. And he is the host of a few shows, actually. I one day when I'm grown up, I want to be like you, Russ.
mm, mm.
Thank you for being here. And wow, Cecilia says, I love the way God used you, Jonathan. Beautiful. Thank you, Cecilia. Oh,
Let me
what?
read you the bit that's specific out of this. So, from this book, The Gift of Dyslexia, and
Yes.
this is what I've been finding out. I think that basically neurodivergence can be easily classified as most people have the world as they perceive it, and that's all that's going on. Neurodivergent brains have the same world stimuli, but they do a lot more with the information. And basically, so I talked about having these multiple perspectives. In the book of Gift of Dyslexia, it gives 8 characteristics. One of them is they can utilize the brain ability to alter and create perception, the primary ability. And then later down, they think and perceive multidimensionally using all the senses. So you spoke about your daughter, and that immediately went ding, 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 ding. Now, she might not be dyslexic, but what if you were to ask her, if you were to get, oh dear, we'll have to have another, we'll have to have another conversation, because if you get her in a relaxed state so that she's not in any way stressed, and basically there's a thing called the Milton model in neurolinguistic program, and essentially there's a lot of stuff, but the phrase as you, so rather than think about, tell me about X experience, you just
Mm,
go, as you're thinking about your homework,
mm.
what sensations come to your body? That sort of thing. And you'll probably find out that she's doing all sorts of crazy shit in her brain like me as well.
Yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure I'll discover that for sure. Um, may I ask you? Let me ask you a question. So I have a life statement that I live by, and that is to positively impact the lives of others. What's yours?
I don't have a life statement. I have a set of 5. So belief systems are, although people don't want to admit this, no, they don't want, it's not they don't want to admit it, they're not consciously aware of it. Belief systems are filters that you hold up over the sensory information to your world, and they tell you what that information means to you. So we are being continuously told, not just in the way the news is presented, but in the way the magazines are presented, all this stuff, this offer shock, multimedia all the time going on. And therefore, and there's a line in Rick and Morty where he says, to live is to risk it all. Otherwise, you're just an inert chunk of randomly assembled molecules blowing wherever the universe wants to take you. That's how people are in the world at the moment. They're overwhelmed because if you pay attention to all the shit that's going on in the world all of the time, guess what? That's your perception of the world. I've turned it off now, but it's always good value. That's my phone. And that's my phone for the very, 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 very specific reason. I don't want to be like you. That, you see, I've been addicted to alcohol and drugs.
Yeah.
When I see a mother or father in a car that's got Bluetooth, still holding the handset, you go, it's not even about the call. You literally can't put it down. So I have that's because they're addicted to this cycle of horror or Facebook or whatever it is. So I have 5 beliefs.
Mm,
The first is equality in all its manifestations, and there are many right-leaning people that claim that women that have more equality now, and it's feminazis. Please shut up. So anyway, equality of all things, free will, and I don't call. choosing from 5 different iPhones for, or an Android free will. I call free will having what I have, which is I ask thousands of questions all the time about everything, all the time. These perceptual filters are running, and it's going inside my head. So, for example, people go and order a Big Mac at McDonald's, and a
Yeah.
lot of people then take the pickle out. I get them to cook it without the pickle in. I also say, and not like I go to McDonald's that often, but I also say, I'd like my chips without salt, please. And can you cook them extra crispy? So I get brand new chips, which I then add the salt to. So
Yeah.
that's free will, not I'm going to accept what you're offering me. Show me what you're offering me, then we'll have a chat.
Yeah.
Equality, free will. The needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few. Taken from the Wrath of Khan, Star Trek. Khan! Do you know that you've seen? Have you seen the film? Yeah, yeah. So it's
Yeah.
no, it's just where you take the filters from is less important than the actual filters or how you interpret them. So the needs of the money outweigh the needs of the few. I'm in the UK. It's obviously going very right wing at the moment, but we're a socialist um, hybrid capitalists. We were more socialist, but so it's something that's fairly deep within me. Then my favorite and most profound quote is from Kung Fu Panda, sorry, Belief, and it's the part where Po is despondent, thinking of leaving, sitting under the peach tree, and Uguay, the turtle, comes up. And he says, "You worry too much about what has been and what is to come." There's a saying: "Yesterday is history, tomorrow's a mystery, but today is a gift." That's why it's
That's why
called the
it's called
present.
present.
Yeah, you get up with that mentality in your mind, changes you. I glide through the world so easily, even though I'm so broken because of these beliefs. And the fifth one, Children are Spectacular, which was the name of my first book, where I speculate that children below 7, especially, are a different species altogether.
Wow.
Ta-da!
Ta-da. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Another mic drop. Go ahead.
yeah, yeah. Can you?
Let's drop the
So yeah,
building.
so basically, I have those 5 beliefs, and I say them to myself, and I behave accordingly. So if I'm driving my car and another car wants to pull out, if they've got 2 people in, the needs of the many, I'll let them go, or a bus, or something, anything that might irritate someone else. I'll go, no, no, you're okay. You're okay. You're serving more people than me. Therefore, it's more important
Yeah.
to me.
Wow. Whew.
You can
I
have a sugar-free polo.
sorry, say
A sugar. It's a. I'm trying to come off sugar, so I'm doing a 5-2, 5 days off, 2 days on. I've got a bar of chocolate in the fridge for the end of the day.
oh my gosh. Okay. So now we've got that section passed. So let me ask you about networking. How do you approach networking?
So, until I wanted to get my book published, I didn't do any networking at all. I have wandered through the world not understanding why it is that things that are so obvious to me are such a struggle for other people, and why it is that as much as people are kind and nice and caring and have good ideas and are hardworking, all the rest of it, there's a just a massive disconnect between what dyslexic people consider to be a good result and what most people consider to be a good result.
Mm,
Um, I
mm.
forgot the question again now. Why is it Mama talking
What's
about
your
that?
approach to networking?
Oh yeah. So I didn't do networking before. So everything I've done up to a certain point, I've done entirely on my own. I travel on my own and do it. I don't care. I'd leave that rubbish phone at home when I went on holiday. I'm
Mm.
not. You don't. You can't reach me. I just don't care. You, my interpretation of the world, it's slightly informed by that little bit of neglect as a baby, but I'm like, I've got 16 different versions going on. So your version also exists, but you are not the main part of my internal world. You are just a sixth to a 16th of it. So networking is something I started when I joined this company, some talented people, a web design company. I've met a bloke at a live networking event, which is why I hated networking up till then. And I knew he was looking for a salesperson. I get help from the government because of my disabilities, but I didn't have any money, and I had to earn some money to pay for the book. So I joined the company. I start doing networking, start going out with your tie, blah, blah, blah. And inherent to my lack of understanding about other people at the time, because I've learned so much so quickly, but essentially I was going to networking and I never really speak about uh, the thing that everyone's supposed to be talking about. So after you've been to, especially virtual, you go to a few networking meetings and you go, "Hello, I'm blah, 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 blah. I do," blah, 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 blah," and it's tedium, utter tedium. And I guess for fundamental business services or fundamental personal services, networking is extremely valuable. But when I volunteered with children, I was trying to change the world. Now I'm trying to change the world, but I know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And so realistically, networking wasn't something that I didn't think people could help me. But then we have the lockdown. So you start doing this. Now, when we started the lockdown, the first thing I bought was a green screen behind me. And then you're in these networking groups, and there's a lot of them, blah, blah, blah. And, as I say, I would say my attitude to networking is go in with a specific target in mind, because too many people go there, they do their elevator pitch, and they hope that something will happen as a result, and they collect loads of business cards and then they go away.
Yeah.
I would only give my business card literally if I was in a room of 30 people, I might hand out two. But I said, if you want to speak to me, then you can find me, because I don't need to speak to you. And that's the fundamental flaw in trying to sell websites. It annoyed me. And then I devised my next iteration of changing the world. Well, two of them actually. And I found myself chatting to people and finding that they supported my mad ideas, which I'm 50. And so until I was 48, that had never, ever, ever happened. No one, not even my family. In fact, my family, I, I dial myself down 95% when I'm talking to normal people because they can't handle it. So to get someone go, oh yeah, no, I'm interested. Oh, tell us about that. And through networking, and that is going into a room or going to an event with a specific intent, um, and then accomplishing that intent, and then following up so that that intent becomes the thing you perceive at the end of it. That has led to 13 people in different parts of the world, experts in their field. People have worked in banking transformations and mentoring organizations, and just amazing people who are in my company. Now, I'm not yet paying them.
Mm,
They are in my company. They've said they've got their position, and they're in my I one to one with them regularly, and I support their emotional well-being because that's what I think leadership is. I think you let people be who they are and who they can be
mm-hmm,
when you protect them from the negative swirling messes. So I then found that I was getting support, and then I launched a business page, and then I thought, well, what am I going to do on LinkedIn? Oh, well, I might as well do some videos. So because I had the green screen. So it's just about, I just thought, so the first videos I did were very, very short, like if you're in business, do this. And then I started reviewing these hundreds of books I've read. So people, that was quite interesting. And I thought people don't want to just hear my voice. As you can see, I speak a lot. People don't just want to hear my voice. They want to hear interesting conversations. And so I'd have these video conversations. I had the free Zoom at the time, so we'd do it in 2 sessions. And at the start, I was trying to do it as a live TV show, going out for a break, but then in the edit it wouldn't work. So yeah, you can see that as an improving thing. Um, so I produced all this content, and I got into these connections with these shows. Then so they would post the shows out, so other people. Basically, I tried to make other people look amazing. So my post today, it's all about the panel of guests, because what I basically do is, as you can see, I'm a scatterbrain, and things are going off inside my head, ding, 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 all of the time, and therefore I've lost my train of thought again.
it's okay. So let's just recap, right? Like
Yeah,
with regards to your approach to networking, when you attend any networking event, you go in with a specific purpose,
yeah,
something that you're going to specifically say,
yes.
and then that's your approach. And
Not
when it
just
comes,
say
yes,
look for, or it tends to be less about me and more about them.
yes. Let me show you a quote that I love. It is by Dr. Ivan Misner, and he says, networking is more about farming than it is about hunting. It's about cultivating relationships, right?
Mm.
There's another one by Keith Ratti, and he says, the currency of
Ah,
real networking is not greed, but generosity.
do you know what? That looks like we might have set that up, but we haven't.
Yeah. No, this is, you didn't know about these quotes that I'm showing you,
No,
but
no.
the whole point that I'm trying to teach others is that when you network, it's not necessarily about what you can offer, right? Because the thing is, at the end of the day, how do you create value for others? It's not
Mm.
by showing them your offer, but it's by helping them with theirs,
Yeah,
right? And
yeah.
I'm sure, like, let's actually just talk about quickly about, I don't know if you've ever heard of this, but have you heard of pitch slapping?
No, I'm trying to think. Yeah, go on then. Explain that to me.
So pitch slapping is when somebody connects with you, and as soon as they connect, they send you a DM that
Oh
is
God,
about
yeah.
a pitch. And I'm sure many of us have experienced that. And what it, I have a friend that equates it to trying to jump into bed with me before you've even courted me and gotten engaged and gotten married, right? Like, that's
Before you've
what
even said
people,
hello.
yes, before you even said hello. Um, and that is not a good approach to networking. I discourage it wholeheartedly.
Hmm.
Um, so I love that you specifically highlighted the things that I honestly I teach, because as you all know, I'm South African, and my I one of the quotes that I also use quite often is this one, which is an African proverb, and it says, "If you want to go
Mm,
fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go with others."
there you go.
So thank you, Jonathan. That was perfect. Um, and I was going to ask you, how do you leverage a platform such as LinkedIn? But you did speak about your content and how you approach content, because it's about others, not yourself.
Yes. So basically, I'll DM people from time to time. I've got a load of stuff I still need to publish. Like I'm publishing conversations I had last year now, but essentially I'll speak to someone about this, and I go to them. Oh, right. So, right. Try and pack this down. Okay, there's a book called The Jelly Effect about communication, especially with regard to networking. And the point in that book, it says, so the guy who wrote it's mother was blind, so from a very early age he had to learn to speak to her directly so she could navigate around the world. So all the rubbish stuff on the side he calls the jelly of communication. And he basically says that they're not interested in you or your offer, but they're interested in how they will feel after
Mm.
they've experienced whatever it is from you. So there's that. Um, Tee me up on the what we were talking about, because I had two different.
We were speaking about networking and your the
Oh
how
yeah,
you do content on LinkedIn.
yeah. Then there's a book called Marketing Made Simple by Donald Miller, and actually there's another book called Oversubscribed by Daniel Priestley, and they both talk about. In fact, there's three places I've seen it written now about basically the difference between a tepid to cold lead to a customer is 11 to 12 touch points. I don't want to hold up one hand because that isn't enough. 12 pieces, 12 touch points in three contexts, and a belief in your ability to solve their problem. So I'd say to people, look, I, I, I'm what I'm doing is beyond day-to-day networking.
Mm,
Yeah, I'm building it, but it's beyond what we'd normally do. So I don't want anything from you. I'm not doing this for me.
mm, mm,
However, if you want to, for example, coach person, get three or four people who are your cold leads in a recording. And
mm,
what we'll do, so I'd have this conversation direct with the other person. I'll go, what we'll do is this. They come on, I'm the moderator. They can have their virtual backgrounds up so it brands their company. And basically, you submit to my mad will, which is that I ask random questions, lose my train of thought, get off on tangents, and it basically keeps the room lively, and it requires people think, and therefore the answers they give are not them selling, but
mm,
the nugget of intellectual knowledge or practice that allows them to be good at what they do.
mm,
And by being in the room in a recorded session for 90 minutes, I'll normally do it, they've then spent a long time not you selling to them, but
mm,
we all talking in abstract terms about the idea of coaching, for example. So that when you say to them, "Oh, should we have a
mm,
one-to-one afterwards?" They'll go, "Of course." And then what you do is so I record it, I cut them into 5-minute episodes now, and download them to everybody, and I say we should all upload it. And so then you get the 4 or 5 people who are panelists. Mine, as I said, I'm running behind, but they all upload and tag each other in.
mm.
That's your 5 contexts. So touch points, contexts, being next to the customer, bam, converts. Because
Yeah,
everything else that people do is these hard selling emails, these DMs, all this, no, doesn't work.
no, it doesn't. A friend of mine actually gets really annoyed when he gets pitch slapped, and he says, you know, after about one or two of them, he sends the person a message and says, "How's this working for you?"
Yeah.
Right? Because really, truly, it doesn't. It doesn't.
No.
So let's go to the comments and then we can just do a
Yeah, yeah.
wrap up, a
I was
final
just
wrap
gonna.
up.
Yeah.
Um, let's go. I see Daniel Hall says, awesome exercise. I think he's speaking about shifting your focus. Thank you,
Oh.
Daniel. And Russ. Oh, Katie says, Russ H, so glad you are here to drop some
Hmm.
mics. Yes. um, Cecilia says, in hindsight, there is purpose in everything God does. That's true. Dirk Himan says, hi there. Let us know where you're tuning in from if you're still here, Dirk. Thank you for being here. Charlene, hello, my friend. Thank you for being here and for your awesome support. Has I Charlene actually came from her live stream with a friend of ours. So Katie says, woohoo! I also get my fries double fried and double salted. Yes. And Cecilia says, oh, I love the conversation. Very deep and enlightening. Thank you. Oh, wait, I need to read this.
Mm.
Katie says, in the beginning, about a year ago, I started by joining in on all the chatter and all the groups. Then I decided to be more strategic.
In uppercase.
Sometimes, yes, sometimes you have to take a step back and evaluate. Remember, in Oliver, Fagin sings, I'm reviewing the situation. Yes. Chinedu says, very correct message. I'm not certain which one he's speaking of. Jessica says she loves those quotes. Thank you, Jessica. Yes, that is what networking is about. She also says she's going to sneak out for another meeting, but thank you for the wonderful insights and opportunities to learn. Always a pleasure, Jessica. Thank you. And if you're not connected to each other, anyone that's in the comments, if you're not connected to Jonathan, you should. He is a riot. I never I never get meet with him without laughing. I will say that. So Jonathan, do you have any final thoughts for our viewers, please?
Final thoughts. Okay, so basically, the result of having life happen to you, things go wrong, is that you're given the opportunity to learn. And as a result of given that opportunity to learn, you can empathize better with others. I
Mm,
think the best advice I could give to anyone watching either on the record or on the live is to, when presented with someone being a certain way, remember that we don't know what's happening in that person's life. We don't know what's just happened to them 5 minutes ago. And it's pretty universally true that when people are horrible, it's not about you, it's about them. And to be compassionate.
yes, I love that. I have a friend, Gail was in the comments earlier on, and she has a favorite quote that she came across through a show called Ted Lasso. And the quote is by Walt Whitman specifically, and
Ah.
it says, be curious, not judgmental. And that is true. The best way to go through life is to be curious about it and not judge somebody for who they come across as being,
Mm,
because really truly is that exactly who they are? You don't know.
mm.
You don't know. It could be a facade that they're putting up because they're going through something. So thank you, Jonathan, for being my guest today. Awesome to have you. And uh,
Yes.
if anyone would like to connect with Jonathan, please do so through LinkedIn. That is the only social media platform that he uses. And also, go and check out his website, socialmetoo.org. I'll display it over there, and you can have a look at that and see what it is that he does through social Me Too.
Can
It's
you put up the potency one as well?
yes, I'm about to.
Ah, sorry. Do you know what? It looks like we'd planned this, like there was a structure, because these quotes come up and I say something, and that's what it's been. It's like that.
Yeah, yeah.
Weird.
That's life. That is life. So, um, yes, connect with Jonathan. He is amazing, an amazing person, and I've learned. I always learn from you, and I always laugh. So that is most
It's very
important.
enjoyable, isn't it? I like talking to you. So this
Yeah,
this is effective networking. You
yes,
go beyond just the digital connection. You speak to people. You develop rapport, and from there, anything is possible. And that's why I'm here today, isn't it?
yes. That is why you're here today. If I didn't
So
like you, you wouldn't be here.
people love me. Grannies, children, dogs.
Yeah. So thank you for being here. Thank you. If
Thank
you're
you.
still watching live, thank you for watching and thank you for tuning in. Jonathan, I'm going to send you to the green room if you could hold on for me
Yes,
here, and I'll
will
just
do.
do a quick wrap up. Thank you so
Okie
much.
dokie. Cheers.
And thank you to you for watching live. Know that we appreciate you. And, I appreciate your time and just you being here. So thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. I know that networking can seem like a daunting task. And to many of us, it's difficult to go into that room and, with the goal of maybe developing some more contacts. And as my friend Gail says, you go in there with the goal of maybe make 5 new connections. And as the appointment goes on, you say to yourself, okay, maybe 4, maybe 3, maybe 2. But then you discover that it feels a little fake and you just want to head for the door. Well, I can help you with that. As the networking ninja, I have some strategies that I can help you implement so that you can show up and build that community that you need in your life. If that's what you're interested in, please reach out to me. Let's have a chat and explore whether I can help you. Thank you again for tuning in. Know that I appreciate you. And if you are interested in in the products that I showed earlier on, go ahead and visit this website, kindnessinspired.org. Um, the bottle that I've been drinking from is also from there. It's a kindness inspired bottle because I am a proud kindness incorporator. So if you missed my intro video, I will definitely play it for you again. But thank you again for being here. And if you are interested in becoming a sponsor of this show, please also reach out to me. We have some sponsorship packages available. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful Friday and a blessed weekend ahead. And I'll see you again next week for another episode of Inspiration from Inga. Take care and be blessed. I hate videos. Now, you may be wondering, if I hate videos, what the heck am I doing here?